U.S. unemployment rate jumps to 8.1%. The nation has now lost 4.4 million jobs or more since the recession began in December 2007. The nation's unemployment rate jumped to 8.1% in February, the highest since late 1983, as cost-cutting employers cut 651,000 jobs, and both numbers or figures were worse than economists had expected. The Labor Department's report shows America's workers being clobbered by a relentless wave of layoffs, the spiraling outward effect, or downward. The net loss of jobs in February came after even deeper payroll reductions in the prior 2 months, according to revised figures. The economy lost 681,000 jobs in December and at least another 655,000 jobs in January. And again, since the recession began in December 2007, the U.S. economy has lost at least 4.4 million jobs, more than half of which occurred in just the past 4 months. Yes, no jobs, no economy. There is no light at the end of the tunnel with these numbers, said an economist at IHS Global Insight. Job losses were everywhere, and there's no hope for a turnaround anytime soon. Employers are shrinking their workforces at an alarming clip and are turning to many other ways to cut costs, including trimming workers' hours, freezing wages, or cutting pay, because the recession has eaten into their sales and profits. The downward spiral. Reduced or diminishing pay, which leads to a cut in the standard of living. With employers showing no appetite to hire, the unemployment jumped to 8.1% from 7.6% in January. That was the highest since December 1983, and the jobless rate was 8.3%. All told, or altogether, the number of unemployed people in the nation has climbed to approximately 12.5 million. In addition, the number of people forced to work part-time for economic reasons rose by a sharp 787,000 to approximately 8.6 million. That's people who would like to work full-time, but whose hours have been cut back or were unable to find full-time work. And meanwhile, the average work week in February stayed at 33.3 hours, matching the record low set in December. Job losses were also widespread in February. Construction companies eliminated 104,000 jobs. Factories cut 168,000 jobs. Retailers cut nearly 40,000 jobs. Professional and business services got rid of 180,000 more jobs. And 78,000 jobs lost to temporary help agencies, financial companies, reduced payrolls by at least 44,000. Leisure and service firms or hospitality firms cut at least 33,000 positions. There were just a few areas that were spared: education and health services, as well as government, which boosted employment last month. A new wave of layoffs hit this week. I guess everybody's going to have to get a government check eventually at the rate it's going. Anyway, once again, these are more signs, and there's something bigger going on here. It's also a worldwide economic crisis. General Dynamics Corporation said it will lay off 1,200 workers due partly to falling sales of business and personal jets that forced it to cut production. Defense contractor Northrop Grumman Corporation and Tyco Electronics Limited, which makes electronic components, undersea telecommunication systems, and wireless equipment, also are trimming payrolls. This is basically cleaning house for a lot of firms, said John Sylvia, chief economist at Vakchova. They are using the first quarter to cut back employment and figure out what they want. Again, disappearing jobs and evaporating wealth from tanking home values, 401ks, and other investments have forced consumers to retrench, driving companies to lay off workers. It's a vicious cycle in which all the economy's negative problems feed on each other, worsening the downward spiral. Again, it's a vicious cycle in which all the economy's negative problems keep feeding on each other, worsening the downward spiral. The economy is in a tailspin. Businesses are cutting jobs at an unprecedented pace, said one economist at Argus Research. The country is getting bloodied by fallout from the housing, credit, and financial crises, the worst since the 1930s. And there's no easy fix for a quick turnaround, economists say. President Barack Obama is counting on a multi-pronged assault to lift the country out of recession. A $787 billion stimulus package of increased federal spending and tax cuts. A revamped multi-billion-dollar bailout program for the nation's troubled banks. And a $75 billion effort to stem home foreclosures. Anyway, just throwing around trillions and trillions of dollars like it's nothing at all, hardly. And perhaps money won't solve these problems, because it's bigger than all this. There's something more going on here, much more. And also, the economy contracted at a staggering 6.2% in the final 3 months of 2008, the worst showing in a quarter century. And it will probably continue to shrink this year. Given Friday's grim figures, economists predict the economy will probably shrink in the first quarter at a pace of at least 6%, if not more. Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke told Congress earlier this week that recent economic barometers show little sign of improvement and suggest that labor market conditions will keep worsening. And once again, All these things are connected to the end times, transition days. Watch the news. Watch the weather. Look around. There are many, many signs every day.